Welcome to Chasing Curiosity. TV subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news. Philippine Coast Guard vessel confronts Chinese warship near 2nd Thomas Shoal. The BRP Malapascua slices through the South China Sea, tasked with resupplying Filipino Marines on the BRP Sierra Madre, a rusting symbol of Philippine sovereignty. Suddenly, a Chinese warship looms on the horizon, intent on blocking their path. The radio crackles. The Filipino captain holds his course, tension etched on every face. The Chinese vessel blares a warning. These waters belong to China. The Filipino crew stands firm, knowing international law is on their side. This is more than a territorial dispute. It's about national identity. The standoff is a high-stakes dance. One wrong move could spark a global crisis. Cameras roll, documenting every maneuver for the world to see. These sailors are not just crew, they are guardians of their nation's future. Across the South China Sea, similar confrontations play out. Filipino vessels face harassment, water cannons, and dangerous maneuvers from Chinese ships. Chinese maritime militia, disguised as fishing boats, swarm Philippine ships. Each encounter is a nerve-wracking test of resolve. For the Philippines, it's a daily struggle to defend its rights in its own backyard. The world watches, anxious, as these tense encounters push the region closer to the brink. The psychological toll is immense, but the resolve is unwavering. This is not an isolated incident. It's a recurring drama. From Scarborough Shoal to the Spratlys, the struggle continues. The Philippines stands firm, determined to protect its sovereignty. The stakes are high, and the consequences could be global. Every day, these sailors risk everything for their country. The world holds its breath as the tension in the South China Sea escalates. The South China Sea is a global maritime superhighway. Trillions in trade pass through these waters: oil, electronics, and goods that fuel the world's economies. Any disruption here would send shockwaves across the globe, breaking supply chains and spiking prices. Just north lies Taiwan, another flashpoint. China claims it. The US and allies vow to defend it. The South China Sea and Taiwan Strait are linked. Conflict in one could ignite the other. Control of these waters means control of access to the Pacific and Indian Oceans, a strategic prize for any power. China's artificial islands, bristling with runways and missiles, have shifted the balance. These outposts let China project power far from its shores, challenging US dominance. For Southeast Asia, the sea is a source of food, energy, and livelihood. The disputes threaten not just security, but survival. Freedom of navigation and rule of law are essential here. As tensions rise, smaller nations fear being trampled in a clash of giants. The fate of the South China Sea is the fate of the global order. The world's prosperity depends on peace in these waters. The Philippines sits at the crossroads of Asia's biggest flashpoints. Its islands face the South China Sea to the west and Taiwan to the north, putting it on the front line of both disputes. Filipino fishermen are driven from traditional grounds. The Coast Guard faces constant harassment. The northernmost islands are less than 100 miles from Taiwan, potentially strategic in any conflict. For centuries, Filipinos have called these waters home. The Calayan Island Group is part of their national story. When foreign powers lay claim, it's seen as a direct challenge to the nation's soul. The Philippines is a key player in regional security, inspiring others to stand up for their rights. Its actions ripple across the globe, seeking legal arbitration, upholding a rules-based order. The US-Philippines alliance is crucial to the regional balance. The Philippines is not a bystander, it's a protagonist in this geopolitical drama. Its choices shape the future of the region. The burden is heavy, but the resolve is strong. The world watches as the Philippines stands its ground. To understand today's disputes, look to history. For centuries, the South China Sea was a shared commons. No hard borders, just traditional fishing grounds. Colonial powers changed that. drawing lines and signing treaties like the 1898 Treaty of Paris. These documents now fuel competing claims, each side citing history to justify its position. China's nine-dash line, first drawn in 1947, claims nearly 90% of the sea, overlapping with the exclusive zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, and others. After World War II, newly independent nations formalized their own claims, like the Philippines' 1970s annexation of the Kalayaan Island Group. The result, a tangled web of overlapping claims, outposts, and rising tensions. The stage was set for decades of dispute. In 2012, tensions exploded at Scarborough Shoal. A Philippine Navy ship tried to stop Chinese fishing vessels, but Chinese surveillance ships intervened. A weeks-long standoff followed, watched by the world. The U.S. brokered a mutual withdrawal, but only the Philippines complied. China stayed, seizing control. Shocked, the Philippines turned to international law, filing a case at The Hague in 2013. The 2016 ruling was historic. China's nine-dash line had no legal basis, and its actions violated Philippine rights. The court affirmed traditional fishing rights and condemned China's interference. The ruling was a victory for international law, but China rejected it outright. The dispute entered a new, uncertain phase. The Philippines had won on paper, but the struggle at sea continued. The world saw the power and limits of legal victory. After the 2016 ruling, the Philippines faced a dilemma, a legal win, but a defiant China. The country must balance relations with China, a vital economic partner, and the U.S., its treaty ally. China offers trade and investment, but its maritime aggression stirs public anger. The U.S. alliance provides security, with joint exercises and expanded military cooperation. Leaning too far either way risks economic or security fallout. The Philippines aims for an independent foreign policy, benefiting from both sides, but beholden to neither. It's a delicate balancing act requiring skillful diplomacy. The stakes: sovereignty, security, and economic growth. The challenge: avoid being caught in a great power rivalry. The goal: protect national interests without becoming a proxy battleground. The South China Sea is the Philippines' economic lifeline. Fishing sustains millions. Blocked access means lost livelihoods and food insecurity. Beneath the waves lie untapped reserves of oil and gas, potentially transformative for the economy. But exploration is stalled by disputes and the threat of confrontation. The sea lanes are vital for trade. Any disruption would cripple the economy. Freedom of navigation is not just a principle, it's a necessity. The fight for maritime rights is a fight for the nation's future. The resources of the sea are the birthright of the Filipino people. Protecting them is about survival, not just sovereignty. The stakes are concrete: food, energy, and prosperity. The Philippines is determined to secure its economic future. The Philippines champions diplomacy through ASEAN, a bloc of 10 Southeast Asian nations. ASEAN gives smaller countries a collective voice in dealing with giants like China. A key goal: a binding code of conduct for the South China Sea to prevent conflict. Progress is slow. China's influence divides the group, and consensus is hard to reach. Still, the Philippines pushes for unity and respect for international law. Beyond negotiations, ASEAN fosters cooperation on maritime security and environmental protection. Building trust in small ways lays the groundwork for bigger agreements. The ASEAN way is slow, but it's the best hope for peaceful resolution. The Philippines believes regional unity is essential to manage disputes. Dialogue and cooperation remain its diplomatic arsenal. As the sun sets over the West Philippine Sea, the future is uncertain, but the Philippines is not passive. By turning to international law, modernizing defenses, and championing diplomacy, it has chosen principle over force. The 2016 arbitral ruling is a legal and moral foundation, inspiring others to defend a rules-based order. The path to peace requires credible defense, strong alliances, and steadfast diplomacy. The daily efforts of Coast Guard, diplomats, and fishermen are all part of this national mission. The Philippines can be more than a flashpoint. It can be a beacon of hope. By navigating with strength and diplomacy, it can lead Southeast Asia towards stability. The goal: peaceful resolution, respect for rights, and shared prosperity. The journey is long, but the resolve is unbreakable. The Philippines is determined to protect its people and its future. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher.